Hello guys, now we are going to go through strings in Java. So we've touched on strings a little bit in the first module where we started to print out, messages like hello world and things like that. But now we're going to go in more in depth and about storing strings, manipulating strings, outputting strings and all that good stuff. So we're going to just create a new project. We'll call this strings and IntelliJ. If you haven't got IntelliJ installed, make sure you install it. If you look at video 1 of this series, we go through the installation. We can store this wherever, we'll add some sample code, we'll press create. Now we'll get a window like this, collapse this, and let's make some space. So we see this main method here. Whatever we put inside here will run, and we'll be going more over the internals and how this main method works and what all this jargon is in a video later on in this section. So we did integers just now. We could do the same thing for strings. Now the only difference is that when we create a string, we want to use string with a capital S. So we obviously put our data type first. So what are we storing? We're going to say, okay, we're storing a string, space. Then we're going to name our string and we'll call this hello world. Like this, we can name this whatever we want. Apart from, we can't name it things like string and stuff like that. So, if we go hello world, and then we can go equals, and then what we want to do for a string is these two double quotation marks here. And then a semicolon at the end. So we can put whatever we want in here with spaces and everything like that. Unlike our variable name, we can put whatever we want in here. We can put special characters and more stuff. And that is going to be the value of the string. So we can say, hello there, I am Java. We can put however much we want in here. But let's keep it to this for now. So what we've done now is we've created a string that we can reference by the keyword hello world. Oops. The keyword hello world. And that is going to equal this value here. Now let's just output that value. So we'll go system out, print. And if you don't know that shortcut, we can just use sout. Type that and press enter. Now we can type hello world. And what this will do is it will reference that string that we had there. And it will be just like printing this here, except for we're referencing that other variable and we can change it and all this good stuff. So let's run that and see what happens. Cool. So we get the value of hello world, which is this. Now we can change this up here. Let's just delete this, save it. Then it will put out I am Java. Cool. Now we're storing this within memory. So this is stored on a little bit of our computer. What we can do with variables, and this applies to integers as well, but we'll do it for strings, is that we can actually change the value of this variable as we go along. So now let's change the value of hello world. Let's just say we want to change it to something else that's not I am Java. We can go hello world, and then we can reassign it. So we can go space equals space, and then something else. Now obviously we want a semicolon at the end of that. It looks like I spelled something wrong. Oops. Now, what happens when we run this? Let's have a look. We get something else because we've reassigned hello world to a different value. And then we've referenced it later on in the code here. And that is now going to be equal to this. Now, let's add something else in between line 4 and line 6. And let's add another system.out.println. And let's go hello world. The exact same code as what we have here. And let's see what happens. Well, as you might have guessed, we see I am Java and something else. Now, the first one was printed here, the second one was printed here. And we're referencing the same variable. So you might think that, it would output the same thing, but it actually doesn't. because we have our variable defined here, which at this point in time is I am Java. We print it here. Then we move on to the next line and we reassign it to something else, and then we print the same thing. So this is how we can change values, throughout our program, line by line, of the same variable. One more thing I'd like to show you is that we can change the values, but we can also append more values on. So for example, we can go like hello world equals hello world space plus, and then even more, and then put semicolon at the end. Now, essentially, we're now saying hello world is going to be what it previously was, which is going to be this, plus even more. So we're going to add that onto the end of it. Now let's output that. So we'll go system out print like this, or you can type this out manually if you want. And we can go like hello world. And now we'll see what happens when this runs. So we see I am Java, that was as expected. Something else, that was as expected as it was before. And then now we have something else, even more. So we can basically use the existing value of a variable, even when we are reassigning it, even when we're changing the value, and we can do stuff like adding more to the end of it, right? So this plus, all this does, it says, get this and put it next to this. And then we get one whole string here. So that is the basics of strings. See you in the next episode, and we'll talk about Booleans.